Okay, today's channel news, I'm going to try to do this as a live stream. I've been messing with the lighting and trying to get it right. The sun just went down over the hill. So now the lighting's different. Anyway, I'll wait until people start showing up. In the meantime, just messing with the thumbnail for this took me forever because I had to try to get a photo of me in this position, and then I took it on my computer first, but then I couldn't upload it quickly to the internet, so I took it on my phone. Mike's here first, and then what I did was I looked around on the internet for a little bird picture. I mean, it took me forever to do the thumbnail, and then I was messing with the lighting. Like I have to put this right in front of my face, this little shop light, to make it look right. Yeah. Because with the window behind me, everything looks dark. All right. Let me know if you can hear me okay, because I plugged in the microphone at the last minute. Hello. Let's see. We got Sam, Brennan, HDC, Ashia. Let me know how I pronounce that name. Stidley Designs. If I mispronounce anything, let me know. Let's see. Andrew, the one that calls me Wes, like Wes Studi. Yeah. Funny guy. Anyway, I was messing with the thumbnail for this for almost an hour. Yeah. And then the sun went down and the lighting got screwed up. Let's see. So it's a question and answer. This is channel news, right? But I'm going to do like a question and answer live stream. Someone recommended that I do that so I don't have to think up questions on my own. So, yeah, whenever you're ready. Today's news is, first off, my name is Patrick. The channel name is Jack Crafty. I'm going to have another live stream Friday night. Okay? I think I'm going to do it starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay? So I'm going to write this down so I don't forget. 8 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern on Friday, starting every Friday, starting with this coming Friday. Okay. And then my channel news will also be live stream, but it's going to be random. Or if I can plan it out, I will do, I'll do it at a certain time. Yeah. If I can make sure that I can be available during the week at an earlier time, like right now, I'll do it on Wednesdays at an earlier time. But today it took forever to get set up. Okay. Yeah, what's up? We got the usual crowd. David Gilmore. Yeah, someone it wasn't you, Mike, but someone else gave me a link to two pictures of David Gilmore and then Wes Studi. And I think if you used AI to combine those two, here that you'll get me. Yeah. You should try smoking either tea from a pipe or in a cigarette and make a video. I did tea. I have smoked tea from strawberry leaves that you can make tea from, and something called fem tea, because it was mostly red raspberry leaves and stuff. Today's soup is chicken bouillon. It's been very cold and I've been kind of feeling under the weather. Let's see. That light is pretty harsh. Let's see what we can do, because it's going to get dark as the live stream progresses. The sun just went over the hill. Yeah, so let's see if I can get this. I'll mess with this until I get it right, and then I won't have to mess with it anymore on future live streams. Still new to this format. Yeah. That was you, Andrew, that sent the 2 links to the videos with David Gilmour and Wes Studi. Yeah. Yeah, you saw the video where I smoked raspberry leaves. I got to get some. Yeah, they're pretty easy. Red raspberry leaves are actually easy to gather. You just kind of crimp the raspberry plant. You don't have to crimp it toward the bottom. You can crimp one of the branches or at the top, and the leaves will wither and they'll brown right on the vine, right on the stem, and they just pick them off when they get brown. Yeah, and I gathered a bunch of leaves this fall, but I decided not to do any more of those smokables for a while because I had a reaction to goldenrod. They say you can make tea out of goldenrod too. I'm reading some of the comments. All right, so I saved some points that I made for my dad years ago. That one, let's see if I can see. The camera is not gonna. The computer camera is not good. Anyways, that one I saved, and this one I saved, and these are heat treated chert, and they were some of the first Clovises that I made. Probably cannot see. They're about 4 inches. Yeah. Some of the original heat treat from the bull gravel that I used to knap. And they're very dull. They're still wavy on the edges. Yeah. All right. So I had some ideas for channel news, but I didn't get around to doing it. The only thing I got around to doing was I shredded some sinew. It's just laying around here. I'm shredding sinew for bowstrings, and that's backstrap sinew. I'm going to combine the backstrap sinew and the regular leg sinew for the bowstrings. Yeah, and these 2 Clovis points I made in 2012. So that was I started knapping seriously in 2009. That's when I started the indirect percussion techniques. And then by 2012, I could make mostly what I wanted, except extremely thin and extremely sharp points. Yeah, I'm doing well. It's much too cold to be outside. It was like 7 degrees earlier. I think it got up to 17. My thermometer out back got up to 20, but that's because it was partially in the sun. You got to put some firewood. Be right back. Got to pack in some firewood. Yeah. Sinew is awesome. You can use yucca plants and make a bow string, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I've made some plant fiber bowstrings, but for some reason I can't gather or remove the fibers from the yucca plant myself because I have an allergic reaction to it, especially with the maguey plant. I don't know. I forget how to spell it. Maguey. We had some maguey plants in the backyard of my other house. And whenever I would mess with it in a raw state and take out the fibers, I would get like a poison ivy type reaction down on my wrists and my forearms. So what I use instead of that, I use sisal twine and unwind the twine into individual fibers, and then I can twist the fibers, put them in the individual fibers in groups and then twist them. But yeah, sisal twine will give you long natural fibers, just like a yucca plant. It is a type of yucca plant, the sisal. Let's see, -5 in Ohio. Yeah, I saw the weather. You guys in Minnesota and North Dakota, I saw these temperatures, -40 degrees in some areas, -42. Yeah, Southern Indiana, it's -1. Well, it was negative. It was in the negatives before sunrise here also. It was like -7 before sunrise. But then after sun came out, it quickly went up to 5, 7, 10 degrees. Yeah, so it was extremely cold. Luckily, none of my pipes have frozen at all this winter. Not like my house in Texas, when it would get 20 degrees or below, the pipes would freeze. Here, it can get down to -5, -7, and pipes are fine. I don't know what it is. And they're not insulated here. It's got minimal insulation. I think it's because of the basement. Most of the lines run in the basement. We don't have a basement in Texas. They don't know what that is. It's all slabs over there. Let's see. Did we get slowed down on that? Yeah, on the chat. All right. So we got some snow. You can't see it, but we got about 4 inches. Anyway, channel news. What do I discuss here on channel news? Other than the sinew bowstrings, I was gonna, try to have something going while I was filming, but I'm just messing with the lighting and the prep for the live stream itself. And the funny thing is, once you establish a thumbnail for the live stream and it posts, you can't change it after that. So the other thumbnail I had for the live stream was me and Kevin back in the summertime 2 years ago. And I was going to change it. I had that picture on my computer, but I couldn't change it. So people are going, maybe they go, oh, there's a summer picture in wintertime. Wonder what happened. Is this a real live stream? Just shades of gray here in the UK. Can't wait to see some sunshine. Oh, Scott's in the building. Dwayne, I even got 1.5 inches of the snow in my house in Splendora. Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I would do the mail, when I was in Texas, the clerk would say, "Ooh, Splendora sounds splendid." Yeah. Must be splendid over there. Oh, yeah. I imagine so. I saw that Houston got not Houston, Dallas and Galveston got snow, which is highly unusual. I can't think of what I was going to do for channel news. All right, let's get out the projects book. What do I have on the agenda for projects? See that when I cover up the light? That's terrible. I'll figure this out. No wonder they have sound and light people for shooting videos. You pay these guys because it's such a pain. All right. Let's see. I'm going to be doing some interesting points. I put this in quotation marks. I like the Bitterroot points. And I think these are all, no, these are not obsidian. Are they? Yeah, they are. These are obsidian points. The Bitterroot, the Northern with wolf ears, the Stockton, the Elko split stem and Elko corner notched, Columbia Plateau. They do have obsidian Columbian Plateau arrowheads. Scotts Bluff in obsidian. I got to do those. Desert, Side Notch, Eastgate, and Wintu. Those are the obsidian points coming up. Plus the ones, the bifaces that I'm going to finish. I have a couple of obsidian large bifaces that I'm going to try to do regular patterning on it. Did you happen to see my bar over there? Yeah. Sal, did you, was that an explosive? I didn't watch the whole video. Okay, sorry, I didn't watch the whole video, but did that barb explosively leave? Or did it just kind of snap off regularly? Because if it exploded, yeah, it would probably land over here. If you use a Nacho-matic on obsidian, it'll explode if you don't do it right. So you should try that and see if you can do better than I did with the obsidian and Nacho-matic. The strings of the Japanese bows were made from hemp or rami. Yeah, hemp is okay. I find that the only strong natural fibers that are plant fibers are I was going to say linen. I guess it is hemp. Yeah. I've tried linen, and I guess the linen had retted too long, and it was extremely weak. Even the hemp fibers that I used, but these are commercial hemp fibers. They're short and they're twisted into regular threads. Even with that, I had to use very, very thick bowstring on my 70-pound longbow that's made of juniper. I have a 70-pound longbow, and I use the natural plant fiber strings. They all have to be very thick, almost a 1/4 inch thick, because they wear at the nocks and they wear down where you fire the arrow. Of course, that's why they put the serving on there. But what are you going to make the serving out of? The same stuff, and then it builds up really, really thick. So you need big nocks. Now, I've noticed that on museum samples of bowstrings for these longbows are not the nocks are not wide. The bowstrings are like 1/8 of an inch thick, very narrow for, very powerful bows, 70, 80, 90, 100 pounds. So I don't know how they were twisting their strings or what they were making the strings from, or if they combined them, or they had a very special process so that the fiber would not ret too long. If you know about harvesting and removing plant fiber from various stems, you have to ret the stems in water, which means rotting the stems, so that when you are done retting them or rotting them, the fibers come out easy. But I think what happens is if you leave it in there too long, the fibers become very weak. And that's what I have. I have very weak plant fibers as far as hemp and linen goes. That was my experience. So I stopped using them. I've used sisal twine fibers, which are actually very strong, but that wears down even faster when you bend it, because it gets a little bit crackly. So it's kind of brittle. The sisal twine fibers are kind of brittle. I love the pig lamp. Yeah, I inherited that lamp there. Yeah, and I bought that globe. I added that one for myself recently. Yeah, because I can't be without a globe. I gotta have a globe wherever I am. I didn't bring my other one, or I bought one for my son, and I was using that too. So his is more up to date. Let's see, Salomatic. Have you ever heard the song "Bandit Clovis" by Tyler Childers? Tyler Childers. I haven't heard that one. Probably combination threads, like you said. Yeah. Hemp sinew rawhide. Yeah, I've heard that the strings that are plant fiber strings from Europe are always waxed. So they would use beeswax probably, right? Or some other type of plant-based wax. I'm thinking here. What have I seen? I need some water. I'm not used to talking. I think I say maybe 30 minutes of speech a week if I don't do videos. Outside of videos, I don't talk to anybody. Don't do anything. I don't talk on the phone. I hate talking on the phone. I hate to admit it, but I hate talking on the phone. Yeah, lots of hate. Sunflower. I've used sunflower fibers, but they're weak. Very weak. Weaker than the heavily retted linen. Only other organic wax I can think of is off the top of my head. Well, there's bayberries or something like that. Various berries have wax coatings. I get confused between the ones available here in North America and the ones available in Europe. A lot of the ones available here are transplants from Europe. Sunflower wax. Yeah. Well, anyways, the really heavy English longbows had waxed strings, as far as I know. Tallow tree seeds are covered in wax. Interesting. They grow wild all through the South. South where? South Europe? Southern United States? South America? Where? I remember you saying that must be hard to collect. Yeah, any kind of natural wax other than beeswax is hard to collect. Thoughts on yucca fiber? Yucca fiber is strong as long as you don't let it dry out too much. Yeah. In the beginning of the live stream, someone else also mentioned yucca fiber. And sisal twine is a yucca plant. It comes from a yucca plant. But it varies in strength depending on how thick the fibers are. The thinner the fibers, the less the strength. Yucca fiber, yeah, is good. But like I said, it breaks at the points of contact with the bow and the arrow during the actual shooting. Okay, not when it's just sitting there, and not when you just have it knocked. It doesn't, even if it shifts up and down, it's not going to wear out the string. It wears it out when you're shooting, which means the shock causes the plant fiber string to break little by little. Now, I had one plant fiber string that just popped at the top of the bow when I was least expecting it as I was drawing the bow. Yeah. So I don't like it. Hi, Patrick. Ralph here. Hey, Ralph. I think I figured this live chat. Yeah. Everyone can see everyone's comments, so you better be careful what you comment. Let's see. I started this at 4 p.m. or somewhere around a little bit before 4 p.m. Eastern time. I think I'll go for an hour, even if no one is on the chat. Because you'll see the video anyway, eventually. And yeah, I'm having another live stream Friday. This coming Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. It's funny because I had to visualize this stuff in my head. In order for me to speak, I have to visualize at least a little bit of something. Yeah, because I have the neurodivergence, which is the correct, politically correct way of saying it these days. I have neurodivergence, which makes me mostly scatterbrained in some areas and then highly focused with intense knowledge in other areas. Okay, so it's very extreme. And I can have a good understanding, excellent understanding of some things and completely clueless of other things. Some things can be very easy for me and extremely difficult for other people. And then some things are extremely difficult for most people and almost impossible for me to do. Yeah. If you ask me to tell the time really quick by looking at a clock with hands on it, you'll beat me every time. Yeah. It's just something weird. I mean, Master of Stone and all, yeah. I wish I was a Master of Stone. It takes me a long time to become interested in learning other techniques. Yeah. These days, to be a Master of Stone, you have to know lots of different techniques. These days. Back in the old days, you had to just master one technique. That's it. I've got some drawings of potential jewelry. Yeah, I did that a couple days ago. Because if you're into jewelry making, you can also get into Flintknapping. If you're bored with your jewelry, you want to do something a little bit different, you can get into Flintknapping. And then Flintknap those little pendants and stuff. All right. Did I tell you I found a spot for viburnum? For lots of it? No, I didn't, I don't think. I got a spot for silky dogwood, which is almost identical to red osier, where I can get lots of it. Yeah. I'm learning how to edit on the computer. It's taking up some time, but I'm learning how to edit videos on the computer. Using cheap software. I'm probably going to have to invest in a better software. Let's see. All I got now is back order stuff. I still have my back order list, so don't worry. Yeah, I couldn't name Joe Barry. I've got stuff for you I've got a whole area devoted just for your stuff that I still got to do. I don't think Joe is on the live stream. Let's see. Spatial thinker. Yeah. Let's see. Nice. Yeah, nice bird on the thumbnail. Yeah, it takes me a while to find the good birds on the thumbnail. I heard you're gay. Is that true? No. I'm about as not gay as you can get. I was married for 26 years. I've got 6 children. But let's say I'm very secure in my manhood, so I don't care if you think that I act really weird or gay. Let's see. I have a bad problem with starting a point, then working on a different one, then start something else, then go back to the first like 2 weeks later. That's not a problem. I don't know. It's good to do that actually to mix it up. Yeah. I mean, if it interferes with you selling it, yeah, it might be a problem, but it shouldn't be. I do that too, and I guess I'm biased. If I do it, it's okay. Let's see. How about muscadine grapevine fiber? Is that how you pronounce it? Muscadine grapevine fiber for bows? I've never heard of that. I mean, I've heard of grapevine fiber, but not that. Why does it make a difference? I suppose it's better for fibers, right? Let's see. Joe Barry. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Yep. I haven't forgotten a bunch of, I got some stuff lined up for various people. I just don't want to call them all out because it's kind of embarrassing I got like over 12 different people that I have back orders for. And guys I haven't spoken to on email for a while. So they thought I forgot. Let's see. Donnie R, you're not even curious? Absolutely not. Let's see. Do I only have one troll on the stream? Come on. You could do better than that. Let's see. Don't feel bad. Triangle Man. Wild grape. Yeah, we have wild grape in the backyard. Let's see. I live in the UK and I know Patrick has a horde of kids. Yeah. I laugh because it's like, it reminds me of horde of Mongols, and that's a pretty good description. Yeah. I give bows and arrows and horses to my kids, and that's what you'll get, a horde of Mongols and Huns, right? I've read all about those guys, the horsemen of the steppes. All right. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed any questions. I'm surprised that there's not many questions on how do you make a thin point? What's the material for the thin points? I want to make them really thin. What is a good material? And not glass. Yeah. Oh, well, you just disqualified the best material for thin points. Sorry. Glass is the best material for thin points because it's highly consistent. You can get good quality glass from bottle bottoms, especially. And a lot of it's free, so you can practice all you want. As long as you know how to clean up the mess, glass is your best bet. Somebody's called Butt for Brains. Are you going to troll me? What is QW? Yeah. Watch it be the same guy. Just two different handles on YouTube. Let's see. What can I talk about? I don't know. Can you see the outline of my van? It has a spare tire on top. Can you see it? Yeah. This plant back here is called the butterfly bush. It's going to be gone in the spring. I'm going to move it. I'm going to cut it down and move the root ball to a different place in the property. But yeah, it attracts butterflies and stuff. And I was collecting some insects for my daughter. Only from this plant, it attracts dozens of different types of insects. So if you're into bug collecting, who's your favorite source for raw material? Actually, there's many sources. I have to diversify if I want to get raw materials. Okay, so not everyone has material available whenever you need it. You should diversify that way. If one guy doesn't have something, you can call somebody else. But yeah, Danny Collins. I have a list of rock sellers. Is that what you're talking about as far as materials and not bow and arrow wood and stuff or bowstrings? If it's just rocks you're talking about, I have a list of rock sellers, and let's see. Danny Collins is the first one that comes to mind because I have a box from him just sitting out there right in front of me. So I remember that one, that source. Jeff Head. If I forget you, forgive me. Here's another one that I get stone from Kurt's Church. So the three that are the most reliable that you can get stone right away is Kurt's Church, Danny Collins on his website, and Jeff Head. The turnaround on those guys is very, very short, and you can get plenty of stuff. But yeah, I'll put the list of rock sellers in the comments. Have you ever tried the Knapp rock hard sun-baked cow patties? These guys have weird handles. I think, did you just make it up just now? Wayne Tuttle stuck his, yeah. What a strange handle. I've been meaning to ask you, how do you get rid of a square edge? Yeah. You too, huh, Sal? Yeah. Someone had to say it. Let's see. You said that making knives wasn't a good seller. It's a shame. And why don't you sell knapping kits? That's a good question. Two good questions, right? For me, making knives is not a good seller because it's fixed. Once you make a knife out of a point, that's it. You can't modify it unless you want to destroy the knife itself, take it apart, or renap the stone part of it. Whereas if I were to sell just the blade, you can put notches anywhere you want on it. You can display it just as a blade. You have options. You can make a knife with it or not. It sells better and for a higher price if it's just a sharpened blade and not with a handle on it. I don't know why. It's just the market. I don't sell knapping kits because I don't want to spend time in a shop generating wood dust. I'm very sensitive to wood dust as far as allergy reactions. And also, I'm not into the woodworking aspect. I'm into the flint knapping. I would have to use a lot of wood to make knapping kits because that's what I use in my knapping kits. A lot of guys use plastics. I would use wood for my knapping kits. And like I said, I don't want to be. I'd have to have a separate shop with separate ventilation and uh, much more intensive cleanup if I were to make kits. And then I had to chop up the copper and other metals for tips and stuff and grind metals. I hate grinding metals. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't make knapping kits. It's too labor intensive for something that I don't like doing. I don't like doing it. How do you know about as for corn? I haven't seen you in a long time. I don't understand. How do you know about what happened at the gym? Ahab the fisherman. Let's see. Okay, you guys can have your own conversation within the comments. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. You ought to nap some Monterey chert from California. It's an oil chert. I think I have napped some of it, just not on video. How are you doing for gloves? I got plenty of gloves. Yeah. Thank you, Bitter Magic 97. Click on my picture and then click standard moderator. I'll take care of any trolls. No. Don't take care of the trolls because I want to see if they've made their handles just so they can troll me or if they're somewhere else on the internet too. Who do they pick on? That's what I want to know. Who are they after? I find that interesting because sometimes they're just all tame with everybody else. And when they get to my channel, they start. So I'm thinking maybe it's the same guy with different handles. I've been on the internet since 1995. So I've seen quite a bit of nonsense. Let's put it that way. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, you've told me you've mod for many channels. Yeah. Yeah. No, but no, don't. I want to see who's doing it. The guy that sends you the rough abraders. What machinery does it come off of? Don. He's usually at the Knap-ins in Brady. Don Tower. He gets them from an industrial process from where he works, I believe. And it comes off big machines that I don't know what. I think they're used actually in maintaining certain parts of certain pieces of equipment. Let's see. What about weapons with bone points to sell? Yeah, I can probably make those. Actually, I have a lot of bone saved up and antlers saved up that I could use for weapons. And like arrowheads, I've already got it on my list to make bone arrowheads during the week. Just haven't gotten around to doing it. It does create dust, but not as much as woodworking. When are you going to start napping again? You've been laying down on the job. I wish I could lay down for a few weeks and not do any napping. Let's see. No, ask for corn. You don't have to shut up. You can continue to do your thing. Yeah. I've seen that handle before somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. Let's see. Yeah, we're all loving the snow, I think. I have not made snow angels. No. I know you didn't ask me, but I haven't made any snow angels, and I'm not going to. I don't like having the snow go down my neck. I'm getting too old for that, right? I used to get into snowball fights all the time, and then I don't know, something happened. I think it's called old crotchety age. And the people around here, they look at the snow and they go, meh. They hardly ever make snowmen anymore. Every time that would snow in Texas, there'd be snowmen all over the place because it was a treat. Here it's like, no. And then I'll take pictures of icicles on the sides of my house. People, the neighbors probably go, what is he doing? What's he doing over there? He's taking pictures of his house. Couldn't be the icicles because they're like, no big deal. Yeah, I'll get back to napping the chert and stuff after I do my round of obsidian napping. Yeah. I've got a lot more obsidian to do. As it gets darker, that light, it gets brighter. And it feels like an interrogation. Yeah, I don't like playing in the snow anymore at my age, but sure do. Yeah, the only thing that I'll do in the snow these days is look around for arrow shoots and cutting wood. There's an apple tree, a crabapple tree that's out on the trail that I want to cut pieces off of because it's got these really gnarly branches that I can make knife handles out of. So that's the only thing that I mess around with in the snow these days is just gathering wood. Yeah, I've got some icicles here on this bush. I get all excited about this winter stuff. I was away from it for over 30 years. I grew up in New Hampshire and then I moved to Texas and then I experienced only 2 seasons for I don't know how long and then finally come up here and I'm all excited. Ohio pentagonals and Afton. Yeah, the pentagonals, there's a lot of percussion done on those. The mailman is finally here. That's weird. The mailman's just delivering just now. You ever plan on collaborative videos with other primitive technology enthusiasts like Thad, Kumar, or Billy Berger? No, but I don't usually seek out collaborations. But who contacted me lately? Donnie Dust. Somebody contacted me. I think it was Donnie Dust, right? Contacted me in my comment section. Yeah, I will do collaborations now that I've got some time. I'm not pinned down anymore. Let's see. You know Billy. So as for Corn, you were on Primitive Archer. That's where I saw you. Yeah, Billy Berger. I've never met him, but I know a lot of people that know him. Yeah. Collaboration with Billy Berger, I suppose. I don't know who Thad B. Kumar is. Maybe I'm not pronouncing that right or it's not spelled right. Yeah, Donnie Dust is legit. He's a legit, very famous primitive skills guy. I just hardly ever respond to people when they try to communicate with me. I have this thing about social interaction. I can interact with the camera and text quite easily, but in person, I just tend to shut down. Let's see. Both stemmed and corner notch. Will I be able to make a Neanderthal stone tools with the rocks present? Will I be able to make Neanderthal stone tools with the rocks present in India? You can make similar, yeah, it just won't be the correct material. As far as I know, there's not much actual flint in India. There's a lot of jasper and what they call jasper, but it's actually very crude jasper. I think there's agates in India. You should look into doing the agate napping in India. You should be able to make Neanderthal stone tools because all it is just zigzagged around the edges, and then once in a while they'll take a big flake off the center. It just Neanderthals just zigzagged around the outside, and then took off big old flakes from the center. What would they use them for? Various uses, of course. They're called utilized flakes. As for corn, so you were not on Primitive Archer? Thad Beckham. I don't know. I haven't heard of him. Yeah, if you were not on Primitive Archer, there was someone else with your handle on that forum. If you come to Texas, we will do a video on braiding Knap-in. Extra cringy. Yes. Yeah. I'll bring some extra crispy bacon so we can do an extra cringy video. Let's see. I'm so glad I caught you live. How are you? Well, I'm doing fine. Yeah. Did you like the Ishii pictures? Did you like the Ishii pictures? Yes, from the museum. Yes, I did. Yeah. They're very good. And it's good that you took the whole view of the museum display, because sometimes you only see parts of it online. People only take a snapshot up close of just this one little part of the arrowheads or the Flintknapping kit. But when you back up and take the picture of the whole display, it's a lot better. We get to see a lot more. How old was I when I lost my virginity? I was a teenager, let's put it that way. I never see anyone making sickles. I think they are very cool to make. Oh, and hi, Michael. Yeah, people don't make sickles because it's kind of monotonous to make those little pieces that go into the sickle, and then you've got to glue each one, and you got to make sure everything's lined up, or it'll make that noise when you try to cut something. How do I know? I don't know. I got the fire hardening whiteboard bows DVD from Shannon Outdoors with Thad Beckham. Okay. Fire hardening is a advanced technique for bow making done on the belly of the bows. In case you don't know, it's advanced because it can ruin the bow wood. Yeah, if you don't do it right. I love the magazine. I just don't remember being on the forum. Maybe I was. Who knows? Okay, well, I recognize your name there for somewhere. But yeah, I was on the Primitive Archer forum for many years. I found wild bamboo in my area. Any project recommendations? I'm definitely thinking I found my arrow shafts. It depends on the bamboo. Yeah, if it's arrowwood bamboo, then you're in luck. If it's not arrowwood bamboo, then it could, at each node, it could take a J turn. Like it grows and then the leaf pops out, and then on the other side, it makes a J turn upwards, and then another leaf pops out and it makes a J turn the other way. So you get this wonky shaft. You don't want that type of bamboo. You want the bamboo that has delicate stems coming out, not heavy duty stems coming out the sides. So yeah, gather some of those and figure out what kind of bamboo it is. Mike Mason's question. Where's Mike Mason's question? I don't know. Ryan S. Okay. I had to look back at what he was originally saying. Yeah, okay, fine. Why would you do that? You made me look back. You got me. Let's see. As for corn, whitewood bows. Yeah. I mean, the half moon sickle. Yeah. The half moon sickles have separate little blades in the sickle. You have to glue them all very close together and make sure they're all lined up in the same plane. And then when you are going to harvest anything, it's going to take bites out of the flint unless you make the edges robust. I mean, you can make the sickle, but in order to be legit, you've got to actually use it and then take a picture of it if you really want to be legit. And a lot of times when you do that, it looks like the sickle has got bad teeth. Have you ever used the bamboo shoots at Home Depot? Yeah. Or Lowe's or at different garden supply places. You can find the, what's it's called Tonkin cane, very thick walled bamboo. And yeah, as long as it's not damaged, because they'll cut off the nodes on the tonkin bamboo, and sometimes they cut into the bamboo shaft itself, and you can't use that particular one. You got to sort through, and then you can grind down the nodes quite a bit, and it actually does work. You just have to buy like 10 bundles. I don't know, like there's $3 a bundle, so spend $30 to get yourself like a half a dozen good ones. Each bundle comes with like 5 or 6, but you got to get a bunch to get the right spine weight, the right straightness, and make sure that you don't have splits in the bamboo. How do I know all this? Yeah, I've made arrows from that kind of bamboo from Lowe's and Home Depot. Message retracted? Man, let's see. Ken has joined us. You can get decent bamboo as plant stakes, but it's hit and miss. Yeah, some are real Japanese type of bamboo, and some are crapiola. Yes. But yeah, most of it's Tonkin cane if it's high grade tomato stakes. Crescent blades, he means. Ah, okay. Why don't I make crescent blades? That's what you meant by sickle. I have made, if you type in Jack Crafty Crescent as a search on YouTube, I think you can come up with one of the ones I made. I have made those before. Now, what do I think they're for? I think they're knives. Yeah. Let's see. Is flint knapping your career or just a hobby? It was just a hobby, but it's becoming more and more a job. Maybe not a career because I'm not going to do it forever. It has downsides like silicosis and various injuries. I'm lucky I haven't injured my eyes or nerves in my hands or anything like that from cuts. Yeah. Is flint knapping? I did have recently a chalazion removed. Was it this eye? Remember, I had an eye bump, and I just had it removed, and I think it had to do with the dust that had irritated my eye for several months. So there are downsides to flint knapping. I'm not going to do it as a career. I found that the cane with the longer leaves makes for better arrows. Both our native river cane and japonica have long leaves. I'd advise staying away from the golden cane. Its taper is too steep. Okay, that's good advice. Have you ever tried planting river cane? No, but you can dig up the roots and plant them. I was going to do that with Phragmites reed where I used to live, but it was so common that I would just be able to drive down alleys, and then there would be like Phragmites reed growing under telephone poles where they're not supposed to be. So I just trimmed them a little bit. No one's going to say anything because they're not supposed to be growing there. You're supposed to trim around the telephone poles. That's part of the owner's responsibility. So I would just take random Phragmites reeds from the alleyways. I didn't need to replant it. But no, I have not tried planting river cane, but it can be planted. You'll need a greenhouse if you live in cold weather, though. Let's see. Mike, $10. Thank you very much. Are you going to nap tonight? What's tonight? Wednesday? Yeah. I try to nap starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days minimum. Videos, I would like to do a video every night, but like last night, it was way too cold. Tonight is not going to be too bad. I'll probably nap tonight. Yeah. What's your career? Well, I was a draftsman. I did computer aided drafting for 14 years on and off. That's my trade, computer aided drafting. Although we were trained to do it by hand as well. And I did hand drawings also. But yeah, I was in between obligations. Sometimes I would work, sometimes I would be a stay at home dad. But 14 years on the job doing computer aided drafting was my career. And I can go back if I want. My resume is pretty good. And I was making good money at my last job. Yeah. But it comes with its drawbacks, because one of the main ones is you're sitting at a computer all day. And I was on salary. So my days were not 8 hours. They were 9, 10, 11, sometimes 12, sometimes 13, 14 hours in one day just to meet a deadline. And I was on salary, so it's not overtime pay. That started getting old. But it was, if you wanted a career, I recommend drafting. Yeah, I took it a little bit too far, and got burnt out. Have you ever made wooden flutes? Yes, they're very easy. Yeah, you just look on the internet and go on YouTube. They'll show you the dimensions and everything, how to space the holes, how the diameters of the flute, the way to carve in the whistle thing. I don't know what to call all these parts of the flute, but yeah, you just look up on the internet and it's easy. I've made several out of both bamboo and river cane. Not several, maybe 3 or 4, just to see how easy it would be. It's very easy. And even installing a reed inside for that effect is pretty easy too. And there's a video on YouTube or Instagram where just look up one note flute. There's a tribe in Africa who plays, they have a technique for playing a one note flute, and they augment it with their voice. Okay. Can't get any easier than a one note flute. Let's see. Yeah, Mike has money to throw around, but he's not going to give he's not going to give it to all you guys. I don't think. Mike, your dog knows my voice. Oh, I see. So she's watching? Very interesting. What's my worst injury? One time I had a large Georgetown flake in my, slammed it down. What? I threw the... So it's hard to read that. But yeah, Georgetown flakes, any kind of flakes, if you are doing any kind of heavy spalling, or if you're not careful where you're stepping, it can cause serious injury. I saw one serious injury with obsidian where the guy almost cut off his little finger just snapping obsidian. Talk smack in the next snapping video. I'm having withdrawals. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Can you give advice for making Eden and plain view points using indirect percussion, please? Do I use other techniques to set up the platforms? No. Just do the same techniques. What you got to get used to is just making everything consistent. If you're going to, what I've learned is to make Eden and Plainview and Scottsbluff and anything else with consistent flaking, you need a consistent edge, like a continuous platform, a continuously sharpened tip on the flaker, whether it's indirect percussion or pressure, and then a consistent surface that's smooth. And then you can knock off consistent flakes with indirect percussion. All right. It'll just take you at least 2 or 3 days of wasting your time and using up material to get in the hang of it. And then after 2 or 3 days, you'll get more consistent flakes. And each day, 4 hours a day, I'm assuming. Yeah. Those just require, the plain views and the consistent flaking on a lot of these points. It just requires you to be very consistent. Yeah, that's good. I was looking at that. The flames don't show up very good on camera. I was thinking of using a candle to do some work on camera, but I suppose it's not bad. Which would be the most aesthetically pleasing tool you created that you're proud of? Tool like a Flintknapping tool or a tool made of stone? Have you ever had a weird injury? A weird type of certain injury? No, that I never have. Have you ever napped with your, I don't know what, you are trolling me, but it looks like a different name now. Which would be the most aesthetically tool you ever created that you're proud of? Jaden. Well, let's see. That's a good question. What type of point do I like the most as far as aesthetically pleasing? I don't know. That's hard to answer. I saw pictures one time where Ron Sanders had arterial bleeding. Big Burns green obsidian flake hit his leg. Yes. I didn't see that, but yeah, I've heard of stuff like that. I have 2-inch piece of obsidian still in my foot from a Flintknapping accident, went through my shoe in my foot. I can still feel a crunch. 2-inch piece of obsidian. Yikes. Those abraders could be from industrial Blanchard grinders. Well, there you go. Could be. I don't know where they're from. You got to ask Don, and he's never available. Unless you go to the Brady Knap-in, he might be available there sometimes. Sal knows who I'm talking about. Flintknapping tool you're proud of. Yeah, but what type, like the pressure flaking or percussion tools or the tool made of stone? Yeah, you're using different, the trolls are using different handles each time. I'm not going to block any of you, so don't worry. You don't have to create different handles every time you want to comment. Greg is hunting the trousers. Yeah. Cold there? It is here. Yes, it's cold here. I can actually look at my phone because I'm not on my phone for the video. Let's see what the temperature is. 18. 14 degrees. It was 18 a few minutes ago, and then it updated. It's now 14 degrees. No. Yes, cool. Let's see. Projectiles. Okay, what type of projectile? Now we're getting into, you mean arrows or atlatl darts? I made one atlatl dart that I liked a lot that I was using for target practice. And then when I put a point on the tip, I didn't want to use it anymore. I was afraid to break the tip. But my favorite arrow so far with a Flintknap tip was a reproduction of a Comanche arrow from a museum picture, from a picture that I saw that was a photograph of a museum piece that supposedly it was a Comanche arrow. It looks just like a Comanche arrow with a steel tip, except it has a desert side notch or a Washita looking point on it. That was my favorite that I made. Ed Gould is here. Yeah, you asked me if it was cold. Okay. What gloves do you recommend? I recommend the kind that are in my latest videos. And you can get them. The ones that I have Uline on the back, so you can buy it through that mail order service. They're usually into boxes and stuff, but I guess they sell gloves too. I think it was Uline, right? But yeah, the rubber coated fingertips on the gloves are very good, as long as they're not the cheap kind. You have to get the rough rubber tip gloves. They grab not only the workpiece, the obsidian especially, but also grabs onto your tools when you're pressure flaking and stuff. Arrowheads. What type of arrowheads are my favorite? Mostly from the Southwest. And the ones that I was most proud of making were some Toya points. Yeah, Toya points. I was going to say Washita points, but the Toya points, as far as aesthetics and that I was proud of, the arrowheads would be Toya points from the Southwest. Not ice fishing. I've been catching like crazy. Yeah, I have not gone ice fishing. And the guys that I see out there are not catching much. Not that I'm nosy enough to go over there and say, "What are you guys doing? Catching just little perch?" And they'll say, "No, we got a big pike in here." I don't go up and ask them. It doesn't look like they're catching anything though. Not yet. You have the accent of a native elder who lived his entire life out on the res. You sound like my uncle. Yeah. I get that a lot actually, because I picked up an accent from South Texas, from the Rio Grande Valley, that people say is also an accent that they find on the res. So yeah, I don't know. I have never lived on a reservation, but I spent 8 years in South Texas in the Rio Grande Valley, and I picked up more than 7 years. I picked up the accent for a while, and yeah, I get that a lot. I try to not have an accent when I talk, but when I'm relaxed, they'll start coming out, the different accents. My ex-wife doesn't know I'm online, no. Unless unless she just by coincidence she was curious about what I'm doing on my channel, but no. Hardly anybody from my family watches my videos. How did you learn Flintknapping? Just from watching YouTube videos at first, and then I developed my own style. I'm mostly self-taught. John Stone. Yeah, you know what John Stone is, right? It's the toilet tank porcelain. It can be napped. Your AG points are awesome. Thank you. Thank you. There ain't no women in here, that's for sure. No, I have like 9% or 10% female viewership on the videos. Yeah, I'm no longer married, and I'm one of the solitary dudes in the chat. I consider myself part of the chat because I'm reading and I'm contributing, and I'm not talking about stuff other than what's on the chat. I got to figure out. I don't know. I'll figure out the lighting eventually. Let's see. Ice fishing is like golf. Worst fun you'll ever have. I believe it. Yeah, Kiowa. It's a soothing voice quality. Well, I'm glad you think so. Yeah. Ice fishing like golfing, yeah. Sword fighting. We're talking about sword fighting now. Just tuning in, Jeremy. Okay. I'll have to rewatch the video once the live stream ends. Yes. Let's see. Me too. You like Ahab. You like the Toya points as well. Ed Gould got to know how. Okay. I don't know whether to read some of these comments or not. Let's see. I discovered that frozen chocolate bars have a conchoidal fracture when I used to work at a restaurant. I don't know that. I didn't know that. Thank you for answering, and sorry about the trolls. No, you don't have to be. Don't be sorry that there's trolls on here. I think it's funny. Yeah. They're all baby trolls anyway. I've been in literal internet fight club. This is not trolling, really. These are just baby trolls. I hate napping with toilet porcelain. Toilet porcelain. Yeah. Hello from Michigan. Killer Quark. Oh yeah, you just ordered you just for the first time ordered something off the auction or won something from the auction. Yeah. Kiowa. You actually pronounced my name correctly. No one does that around here on the East Coast. Thank you. You're welcome. Ahab the Fisherman. Yes. It must be a huge change from a massively busy life to now. Yes, it is. I was a stay-at-home dad for 10 years. Right? Yeah. After I got laid off from my last job, which I was pretty burnt out when that happened, they downsized. They laid me off because they could tell that my work was suffering and I wasn't turning in stuff within the proper deadlines, so that they let me go. And then I was a stay-at-home dad for 10 years. And then during those 10 years, I got into Flintknapping and started to try to develop something else that I could do. And it is a lot different now because, the kids are grown up. I'm no longer married. I was taking care of my dad, but he passed, and I'm just by myself now. So yeah, it's quite a change. Which hominid had the most advanced napping technology during the Ice Age? Was it Homo sapiens or Neanderthals? Homo sapiens definitely, but Neanderthals were not stupid. Their flint napping is sophisticated, very utilitarian. The Neanderthals had very utilitarian tools. Homo sapien tended to make more delicate and more fancy, for lack of a better word, they made fancier tools than the Neanderthals. But all you need to do is cut meat and butcher animals and conduct war. You don't need sophisticated tools for that. Not back in the Ice Age, anyway. Yeah, lightweight trolls for sure. Napping in a walk-in freezer is suboptimal. Yes, it is. When you try to nap chocolate, right? Let's see. Sapien for sure, yeah. Let's see. Levallois technique is pretty damn efficient. Yes, it is. Levallois. Why is it called that? Because the first Neanderthal tools of that type were found in France somewhere. That's why they named it that. Yeah, it's free trolling. I'm not paying for any of these entertainment. Let's see. Don't feed the trolls? No. I can't help myself. I feed all the animals and I feed all the trolls. Yes. I just can't read all these comments that you're posting. All right. I mean, I don't want to. I can read them, yeah, but I don't want to. Yeah, I remember I was on political forums for a while. Yeah, I looked at all the forums that are notorious for trolling, and when you get participating in those, it's like Fight Club. Yeah, and yeah, I participated in many different types of forums. None of them were on the what they call the weird side of YouTube, or weird side of the trolling, or weird side of Reddit, or those kinds of places. It was mostly the political. In the political arena, that's where you find the worst trolls. Early Twitter had a bunch of them too. Imagine if you did a live nap and had a large screen so you could still read the chat. No, I can sit here and Flintknap and still read. I could have my Flintknapping set up and the computer set down low, and I could be napping while I'm talking to you, but it would interrupt the napping quite a bit because I would have to read the comments. So the napping would go like about 20% speed. Would you consider trading napped points for? I don't understand what that is. Oh, I see. You spelled that differently. Trading napped points for something. Well, see, I don't know who would be more dumb. Someone who wanted to accept napped points for that service, or me giving out napped points for that. Who would be dumber in that situation? Let's see. The chat is calming down. It's been past an hour, so I think I'm going to close the chat. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. You once said you don't like the journey. That is correct. You're not wrong. I don't like the journey. I like the result. I've got symptoms of ADHD. Probably have ADHD, but I've learned to deal with it, and I've got workarounds to get over it. But yeah, the journey for me, I used to joke about it, but it's the journey for me is like having poison ivy in my underwear. Yeah. I enjoy when it's over and done and I have good results with the napping. That's what I enjoy. I'll look at the finished piece. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy especially, and also when doing other things, hiking, woodworking. Getting to the top of the mountain is what I don't like. I like sitting there on top of the mountain. Making a table or something is a pain, but when I have the table and I'm using it and looking at it, that's what I like. Everything else is just poison ivy, so to speak. Let's see. Maybe you could live stream while bifacing only, especially the square edge pieces. But then we won't see how you tackle a square edge. Yeah. Is it true that when you do your videos, you're looking through the camera and not at the workpiece? Seems very difficult. No, I don't look through the camera. Actually, that's a good question. I do sometimes look through the camera, but most of the time, I mean, this is my camera when I'm flint napping. It's right in front of my face, right? So I have to look off to the side. But if I want to center the workpiece within frame, I have to nap a little bit while looking through the viewfinder to see if it's actually catching the action. So the camera is like right about here, and the workpiece is there. So I got to kind of look off to the side a little bit and then nap. But yeah, the camera, this is the camera that I use. It's right in front of my face. It's right in front of my face when I'm napping. And the microphone, this new one, I attach it to the side of the phone. So it's like this when I'm napping. Okay? I'm not going to tell you how it's mounted because that's proprietary. Yes. Let's see. It is very difficult still, even though I don't look through the viewfinder to nap. I do look around the camera, so it is in the way. It is not easy. I watched tons of your videos for about 8 months now and have rocks and flakes all over the place and everything. Glass I see everywhere. I want to nap. Yes, I know the feeling. I'm glad you decided to start live streaming. This is great. Good. I'm glad you like it. As soon as I said I was going to turn the live stream off, all these comments started coming in. I agree. This is very fun. Yeah. Where there are hominids in India that flint napped during the Ice Age. Where are there hominids in India that flint napped during the Ice Age? I mean, India is one of the first places for humans to travel to. India has a very long history of human occupation, so there should be everywhere. Flint nap places everywhere. Or flint nap. There should be flint napped items everywhere in India, unless they were more into making bone tools. I don't know. I don't know the history of India very well. It's pretty dark there already. Yeah, see, you can tell. Yep. I don't know how you managed to change your name so many times. The frog factor. Let's see. You're not even worth a medicine point. Oh, I see. You're talking to one of the trolls. Don't. I was going to say don't argue with the trolls. But yeah. Let's see. Deer whistles are easy to make. Deer antler whistles are easy to make. Okay. I've never made one of those. Let's see. I like the streaming. I hope to see more in the future. Yeah, it's going to be this coming Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'll try to do the channel news as a live stream as well. Okay. Is that why they call them Indians? Native Americans, I mean. The reason why Indians are called Indians is because Columbus thought that he had discovered the West Indies, not India. Yeah. He thought he had discovered the islands of the West Indies. Let's see. They originally called them Indios. Indios. Ever since I started. Yeah, no flower bed in a restaurant is safe now. If you're a napper and it's got nappable materials in the landscaping, it's not safe. Yeah, the camera's very close to my work. And sometimes, well, back when I first started, I would hit the camera by accident with the mallet. That was not good. Benny Benitez, ¿qué pasó? Yeah. Blades and points. You must be very proud of your invention of behind the knee napping technique. Yeah, I like it. Not only am I proud of it, I like it. Sometimes you develop a technique and you go, man, this stinks. I'm still trying to figure out if, yeah. You'll be sitting there a long time because of the way that you write and the way that you talk. I can see that you'll be figuring things out for a long time. Everybody gives you, what is this? Let's see. The fisherman Homo erectus was in India. Their tools were their native Australians have most Denisovian DNA. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Yeah. You want proof that I was married? I was married for 26 years. Yeah. You want proof? No. I don't put my family on video. What Knap-ins will you be going to this year? I'll be going for sure. I'm going to the Brady Knap-in either in the fall or the spring. I'm looking at going to the next Letchworth Knap-in. I think there's one this weekend, but I can't go. I can't travel yet. I've got too many responsibilities still, and I don't want to waste too much time on the road, so I won't be able to travel yet. But I want to go to Letchworth Knap-ins as soon as I can, and the Brady Knap-ins as soon as I can. Brady, Texas, and Letchworth, New York. The other Knap-ins, I'm not sure. There's a bunch of other ones, and I have a list of Knap-ins in my comments on most of my videos. If you want to see the Knap-in list, just remind me in the chat. I want to send you an artifact to show your audience, but you got to give it back. It's sweet, yeah. Well, if you trust the mail that it's not going to crush it on the way to me or the way back to you, then fine. Yeah, I'll show it. Your behind the knee napping has spread. I always hear someone bring you up in the Knap-ins. Yeah. It's funny to quiz other people when they don't know that I came up with it. I'll ask them, where'd you see it? And they'll go, oh, I saw blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, okay. I'm trying to remember if I met the guy. I first showed it in Odessa, Texas. And there was a group of people in Odessa, Texas that used to get together every month and do napping, except during some winter months. And I guess in the middle of summer. So during the extreme weather, we wouldn't get together in Odessa. But that's where I first showed my techniques, not just behind the knee, but my other natural tool napping, generally how I did it and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if some of those guys were there at the Odessa Knap-in. Whenever I ask people where they've seen it before. Once in a while, it'll go back to one of those guys that saw me in Odessa back in 2010. I don't see another live stream happening with this many trolls. Yes, I know. That's because I don't delete them. I don't even delete them off my regular YouTube comment section. I'll let them self-incriminate. And if they think they're funny, I'll just leave the comments up. Yeah, I don't care. I'm at the Letchworth one myself. So you're at the one. It's only Wednesday. Oh, you can get there early, I suppose. Where's the list? I put it in the comment section. Let's see. Can I cut and paste? I won't be able to cut and paste from here because my notes are on my phone and not on my computer. But I'll cut and paste a Knap-in list. Just look through various videos lately. In the comment section, you'll see Knap-in list part 1 of 2 and part 2 of 2. There's 2 parts of the Knap-in list now because I had to divide it up. It was too much for one comment because I was pasting it into Facebook Messenger, and they only take a certain number of characters, so I had to split the list in 2. So that's why it's now in 2 parts, so I can paste it in YouTube and paste it into Messenger and into other chat. But yeah, just look at my other, I don't put it in every video, but just look in different video comment sections and you'll see a Knap-in list. Will you be a guest speaker or just attending? I just attend Knap-ins. Once in a while, I'm a guest speaker. But usually I'm not designated as a speaker unless I'm at a demonstration. I've done demonstrations before. I'm pretty interested in an ice age thing, considering we can't find the Denisovians, but looks like they're hit hard by the younger Dryas. DNA is in Native Americans. Yeah. We're all related. Yep. The North Georgia Knap-in is so much fun. Yeah, I've been invited several times to the North Georgia Knap-ins. And I've been invited to the one in Louisiana, Niblets Bluff. I want to go to the Niblets Bluff at least once. I hear there's heavy partying at that one. I don't do a lot of heavy partying, but yeah, it sounds like fun. You said that Flintknapping has become your career now. Do you mean YouTube is your career? You sell your tools? Both. There's different revenue streams. There's like 3 main revenue streams that I get. And this is just a part-time thing. I'm not working nearly as many hours as I used to at a regular job. So I consider this a part-time job, but there's 3 revenue streams. There's the auctions, there's YouTube, AdSense, and then there's side projects. I just gave a quote to someone at Syracuse University for some stuff. So there's 3 revenue streams. And for me, it's part-time income because I'm only making half of what I used to make. It's my job because a lot of times I don't like doing it. If it was my hobby, then it means I loved every aspect of it. At first, when I first started napping, I did it to relieve stress because it took my mind off of a lot of things. I can't do it as a career. I don't think I said that Flintknapping has become my career, or I might have made a mistake, but Flintknapping is not my career. It is my job now. Let's see. Make a community thing on your YouTube page and have them there. Yeah, I suppose. The third Billy Goat Gruff has arrived. No, this guy keeps changing his handle. We found Denisovian's part, some teeth, and I think maybe a jaw. Yeah, I've seen some of those discoveries, yes. My wife doesn't like the sound of the abrader. Just tell her to look in on the transcript of the YouTube videos, and it says music for my abrading. As the sound of my abrading is, YouTube thinks it's music. Maybe you could convince her that it's music. I know. Not possible. I wish they were all alive, the Neanderthals and Denisovians, Homo erectus, florensis. Yeah. I think it would be interesting if they were still alive, but I think you would also find a lot of discrimination, unfortunately. Okay. Niblets Bluff, yes. Right by my house? Oh, I see. Yeah, let me know. Well, I don't know who you are, so I can't let you know. Just send me an email. And then I can try to figure out where I've seen you before. Let's see. If you had the money, would you visit the Amazon tribe to see the making of their weapons and decorations? No, I'm not really that into Flintknapping, believe it or not. I wouldn't travel. I'd rather study photographs, measurements, drawings, archaeological texts. The traveling part for me is like, trudging through poison ivy, and it's not good. I want to see the results of how where other people have gone to these places. Yeah. I know it's lame. I don't really like social stuff, meeting people and that kind of thing. I kind of shut down and get quiet. This kind of thing could lead to hearing lots of voices in your head. Yeah, like I don't already. Let's see. We're all part Neanderthal. Yeah. I've got Neanderthal DNA. According to 23andMe, I've got Neanderthal DNA. Let's see, I've got more than like 73% of the general population. It's not as high as some other people I've seen. It's like 75, 73%, something like that. More Neanderthal DNA I have more Neanderthal DNA than 73% of the general population. which is not very high, actually. Would you consider Neanderthals and Denisovans alive as a result of hybridization, kind of like the Scottish wildcat domestic? Oh, you mean to bring them back with artificial techniques using probably artificial insemination? Would I consider doing that? Well, no, unless we could figure out how to get rid of the birth defects. If you remember when they tried that hybridization with animals, there were a lot of deaths in the beginning until they could figure out how to splice the DNA properly. I wouldn't want to do that with humans. Too many deaths. Great stuff. Another Michigan, they're in the house. Yeah. Yes, I'm American. I'm in your email, Jared. I am. You are in my email? Okay. I'm losing my mind here. Let's just see. I'm gonna see. Well, not under Jared. You're not. I don't know. I can't find you yet. I'll look around. You're not under your name. You must be under something else. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I've got messages from you from 2015. So you're right. You're in my email. Okay. I think that is the chat slowing down yet? Yeah, I think it is. Let's see. Hello, fellow Michigander. I don't have much Neanderthal, but I'm tall. Yeah, Neanderthals were, on average, very stocky and not tall. Thank you for all the knowledge. You're very welcome. Let's see. Stone tools are cool from historical point, but it would be easier to make arrow points from car body parts, etc., than from stone in the post-apocalyptic world. Yeah, exactly. You would imagine a post-apocalyptic world, right, where all you would have would be broken glass and machinery to make weapons from, building rubble from buildings and machinery and broken glass. It'd be so much easier just to pick up a steel pipe and use it as a weapon than to try to make bows and arrows. You can make a curved steel pipe weapon that you can throw like a rabbit stick. And then the steel pipe is so much more effective as a club than something with a stone head on it, like a war club. I mean, it's just kind of silly to imagine spending all that time making fancy weapons out of stone when you can just pick up something like a steel pipe in the post-apocalyptic world. Yeah. And if you can find ammunition, of course, you would immediately try to fight for a gun like they used to in the back in the day. When guns first started being introduced to Native Americans, they would fight over the weapons. They would fight over the guns first, kill each other over the guns, and then they used the guns to kill everybody else. It was ridiculous. All right. This is the map, half of our state. Yeah, I know. I lived in Holland, Michigan for a while. Very little known lore there. Holland, Michigan with all the tulips. Is that where I get tiptoe through the tulips? No, but I remember the tulips. Let's see. It's interesting that in this big world, you are known to be a napper of all things. I mean, you are huge. Am I huge? I don't think so. Not a, you know, there's still people that come up to me and they go, "You ever cut yourself doing that? What's that you're using right there? Is that an antler or is that a bone?" Or they're brand new. They just come up into Knap-ins and they've watched the videos, but they didn't watch my channel. They've watched everybody else's channels on Knapping. They don't know who I am. I get that a lot. So I don't know. Let's see. No, I'm saying that since we alive today have some Neanderthal DNA, are they really extinct? Just like how Native American tribes integrated, they're still Native Americans. Well, that's a good question. I mean, Neanderthals aren't completely extinct if you look at just the DNA. The DNA still survives. Yeah. So in that way, they're not extinct. The chat's gone gay. So is this a Wednesday thing now? Yeah. Well, I should say yes. Yeah. I'll do something on Wednesday. I just don't know when I'll be able to get to it on Wednesdays. Fridays is I can block that in and guarantee Friday nights. I'll try to do my channel news videos as live streams. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Let's see. I don't want the neighbors peeking in. What is he doing? Actually, I don't care if the neighbors peek in. It's just distracting me looking outside. All right, so let's see. Oh, and I remember this is a side thing. I don't know if you guys remember Periscope on Twitter, but one of the biggest jokes on people who would live stream or post on Periscope was that they would see someone behind. That would in the chat you would go, "Who's that behind you? Is that your dad or is that your mom? Who's that behind you?" And the people doing the video would look behind them and get freaked out. So I'm always looking behind. I spent too much time on the internet. Yes, I did. Let's see. So is Wednesday a thing now? Yep, I think Wednesday is going to be a thing now. Okay, a Neanderthal are short. We are some of the taller of the human species. Yes. Should I email again? Yeah. Yes, Jared, you should email again. That way I'll have a more recent email from you. I'm not that good at searching through my email. My grandma looked like Java Man. I don't know if that's a joke. We don't really know what Java Man looks like. We kind of do, but through reconstruction software and the technique for reconstructing the human face from the skull is pretty advanced nowadays. But just trying to get the Java Man and other ancient humans' skulls correct is hard enough. Yeah. Let's see. It's hard enough to get that correct, let alone the flesh part of the face. When we don't know, we're using modern human anatomy to get averages on how thick the skin is on different areas of the face. It may not be that way for Java Man. Let's see. So I think that's a joke. Michigan troll, because I live below the Mackinac Bridge. I don't know what that is, but it sounds funny. Let's see. Don't be trolling other members of the chat. You can troll me, that's fine. Let's see. One. I guess. Hello, Patrick. Recently heard that Vermont is one of the safest states in the U.S. I guess you have seen a lot of times in the USA. Did you notice radicalization in general population in U.S. now? Radicalization. Interesting question. Totally off the subject, but it's interesting. I've been on the internet since 95, right? I had AOL. And at first, it was sane people on the internet. And then the insane started to filter in. And then the advertisers took over everything. So it was 3 stages. First, it was the hobbyists, the sane people, and then the insane started to congregate in chat rooms. And then the advertisers found out that the crazy people bought stuff, lots of stuff, and spent all their money, every bit of it. So then the advertisers took over. And then after that, the politics set in because it was too easy to spread political views. And then, of course, the radicalization sets in after that. So, yeah, I've seen it over time. It's a scary thing because it happened worse in Europe. Yeah. In the U.S., we have a diverse enough thought process among the population that we tend to have little communities and subcultures rather than one big old culture, right? But in other places, the entire culture gets drowned in that whirlpool. It's not good. Yeah. In the general population in the U.S., no, because there are pockets of people. It's not all, even though we all are here, we do have different viewpoints. Okay. Let's see. Is it true that in America, people use a pronoun they for a single woman or a man, and that a woman can be referred to with the pronoun he, she, or he is? Well, using they for a single person is considered grammatically incorrect. But it's used all the time in colloquial, what they call colloquial speech, or everyday speech. You can use they. To use the different gender pronouns, swap them around a bit. That's a new thing within the, I don't know, since the early 2000s. It's been a new thing. First of all, it's grammatically incorrect, but it's getting to the point where you can't even have proper grammar and be safe. You offend people if you use proper grammar. Let's put it that way. So I guess it's now improper grammar. Yeah. In polite conversation with people, when you meet people, you usually don't talk pronouns. Okay. I mean, here in Vermont, there is no discrimination against anybody. Okay. But people don't talk pronouns. The only people that talk pronouns are the internet people. Everybody else is cool with everything. I'll call you whatever you want. It doesn't bother me. What happens is on the internet, they develop these subcultures. That's the problem. In conversation with normal people in what they used to call meet space, meet MEAT, instead of virtual space, they used to call it meet space. In the real world, no one has a problem with it. Let's see. Not that I have met anyway. Of course, I always tried to live in a place where it's not a big city full of psychos. I know that's going to offend people, but I don't care. Um, let's see who's okay. Big Blue, the Big Blue. Are you Juan from Spain? I think that's who you are. Yes. Uh, he thinks I'm a funny guy, like Nacho. He's like a warrior, like Nacho Libre. Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. It's like in the top three. Nacho Libre is like one of my favorite movies. I have a. It's weird because I think Gladiator is my favorite movie, and Nacho Libre is so much different than that. I don't know. I think one of the superhero movies is like another one in my top three. Like what's his name? Oh, I can't remember now. He's my favorite character, but I can never remember his name on the spot. There's this thing with ADHD that you can see the name, but as soon as you bring the focus light onto the name, it disappears, like a reverse disappearing ink. I can see the name here in the peripheral. Deadpool. I can see the Deadpool name as an image, but when I start to flashlight over the image, it disappears like opposite disappearing ink. So I had to distract myself, and I can remember it's Deadpool. The Deadpool series movies are some of my favorite. Okay. All right, what is this here? I'm missing some of this. It's not a joke. I'm RH negative. Okay. Sorry. I apologize. Sincerely apologize if I got that wrong. RH negative. Wow. That's a rare blood type. Let's see. Okay, I missed some of the chat stuff. Dang it. What am I doing? The chat is not advancing like it used to. I got to click up and down, so I'm missing some stuff. Um, let's see. Oh, you guys are talking to the trolls. That's fine. Long time, or something. You guys are recognizing each other. Don't set the curtain on fire. Yeah, that's why I moved that away. It's pretty safe. Americans love subculture. Yeah. In your years of napping, how many stitches have you had? None, but I came very close because I opened my hand up. I think it was my left hand, from like the middle of my hand up to my knuckle. I opened it up, but I kept it closed with tape for a week or so. That was the worst injury I ever had on the back of my hand. And it was from pressure flaking something that was in a vise. And I slipped, and the tip of that point cut into my hand. It just cut open the skin this way, which was good because if it had cut across the other way, I probably would have hit the tendon. But there was no stitches. I never had stitches for a napping accident. Okay. Have you ever been to Illinois? Yeah, I've been through Illinois many times. I lived in Indiana for over a year, so I would travel back and forth from Texas to Indiana. And I had to for work. And I've been to Illinois just passing through. I don't think I've lived there. That's You're making me now try to remember stuff I don't want to remember because those times were not easy. Let's see. We are all told we are special to the point where we're all striving to find what that means. Subculture is awakened. Yeah. Have you seen the Ötzi the Iceman movie called Iceman? Yes. I've also have almost every book written about Ötzi the Iceman, including the pamphlet or booklet put out by the actual museum. I've got like 4 or 5 books on Ötzi the Iceman. It's mostly repetitive stuff, yeah, and some of it's fiction, just literally science fiction. Blazing Saddles. Did you ever encounter a weird creationalist who is against Flintknapping? I heard that USA has the most amount of creationalists. Against Flintknapping? Have I heard anybody be against Flintknapping? Yes, but not creationists. Most people that are against Flintknapping are collectors who don't want modern Flintknapping to get mixed up with the ancient artifacts, which is an understandable position. I try to keep all my stuff recognizable as modern, even though I do try to reproduce some things. It's going to have metal on it or some other thing, or it's not going to be the right material or something like that to differentiate it from the real thing. So no, I haven't encountered any weird creationists who don't like Flintknapping. Is that the correct? Yeah, creationalist. I'm assuming you mean creationist. Maybe I'm not assuming correctly. Hi, Patrick. I like your channel. Learned a lot from you. Thanks. I'm very glad. Blazing Saddles now that's a good movie. Blazing Saddles. Yeah. Blazing Saddles. I didn't like that movie, actually. I'd rather watch The Outlaw Josie Wales. That's my favorite Western. I understand that Blazing Saddles is supposed to be a comedy, but it's not my kind of comedy. There's subtle dry humor in The Outlaw Josie Wales that I like. I was trying to pick off a really stubborn step fracture from the center of a blade. I slipped and sliced open my right index finger. It was bad. You had to glue it shut. Yeah, super glue works good. I'd hardly ever use it though. I just tape. I use a lot of tape. Last time I used super glue, I had a big scab that was getting infected, so I had to rip the whole thing off. And it's not comfortable to rip off the super glue. No. What are your thoughts on Kennewick Man? I believe that Kennewick Man was just a Native American who, by coincidence, has some European features. By coincidence. You are a Viking again. I guess so. I don't know. 23andMe says that I've got 3 main ancestral roots, right? I've got Northern European, Southern European, and Native American. Okay. The Northern European is the most. I've got like 50% or 60% Northern European, but I've also got 30% Southern European, mainly from Spain. And then I have a little over 10% Native American. My ex-wife has the same, but she's half Native American, or not tribal affiliated, right? But just has Native American DNA. And so my kids are, they've got everything. I told them they can just choose whatever they want to be. But Dad, what do I put on here? I don't know what to answer. I'm just going to say other. I used to put other, but then they start taking it off the forums. You can't choose other now. It's got to be specific. It's a bummer. It used to be easy to fill out the census, but now it's not. Let's see. I'm watching most of your videos, although I'm trying to cut out most of the internet stuff. You're doing a good job. Thanks. But there is one thing I'm waiting for, our European Salutrian point. Oh, those are the thin blades. Yeah. I don't know. There's this thing where some people like to chase the thin points. It's not a bad thing. It just drives me nuts. I'll probably do it one of these days. Best spaghetti westerns ever made. They call me Trinity. Trinity is, yeah. The series of Trinity movies are funny. They're pretty good. Yeah. Still, I like them more on the serious side. I like Unforgiven as a western. I like the outlaw Josie Wales. Those two are my favorite westerns that I can think of off the top of my head. Most of the Clint Eastwood spaghetti movies are good, just because of the atmosphere. The Italians made those movies. It has a very good atmosphere that's fun. The spaghetti westerns that they made in Italy, yeah. I meant Stitches. Autocorrect got me again. I don't understand what Stitches. I'll have to go back and look at your other comment. I don't know what you mean, Jeremy. Which Indians, Native Americans, or Indians? The chat is interesting. It takes your brain in different directions super fast. Do you like it? Yeah. It doesn't go faster than my brain. My brain changes the channels very quickly if I let it. Little Big Man movie. I don't know. Same set of movies. My name is Nobody. I don't think I've seen that one. Okay. You don't know what kind of movies I would like. How about a 50? Let's see. I'm with you on Unforgiving and Josie Wales. All right, cool. I got a second on that one. Unforgiven, E-N at the end. How about a 50 plus an hour video making Gertzian knife from Egypt? 50 plus hour. Yeah, it would take me 50 hours just to grind that one side. Well, I think they were ground on both sides. The Gertzian knives are flake over grind from Egypt, the ancient Egypt. So yeah, flake over grind has historical precedent. If you're curious, or if you want to say, yeah, they used to do it back in the day. And they did. Egyptians would grind down these preforms. I think they knapped them first, grinded them down nice and smooth, and then knapped over the grinding to make nice, perfect flakes, but only on one side. It would take me more than 50 hours to grind that down just so I could knap one side. Yeah. It probably takes like 20 minutes to do the knapping and 50 hours to do the grinding. Do you think Quartz will check out Spaceman? If we, that points from it. Golly, the spell check is really hurting you, David. Do you think Quartz will? I don't think SHF, when you know what hits the fan, I don't think we'll be doing any knapping when you know what hits the fan. No. Tombstone, yeah, I've seen Tombstone. That's pretty good. But I think there's two different versions of that movie. Anyway, I do like Tombstone, the one with Kurt Russell. It is a pretty good movie, the Tombstone. I also like the Western part of the, there's a movie that has different parts in it. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Not that the whole movie is okay, but the best part of the Ballad of Buster Scruggs is the part where Buster Scruggs is in the movie. Raquel Welch bathing underneath the water tower for the train. Yeah, that's a good one. What about across Atlantic ice? What are your thoughts on the possibility of Solotrians coming over? I find fascinating that, and often wonder if it did happen, even though DNA evidence doesn't support. Well, it's not only DNA evidence that doesn't support; it's the the time between Solutrean and what they consider what Solutrean influenced. There's more than 5,000 years between the Solutreans and the earliest stuff that might look like Solutrean in North America. What took them so long to make the points? It's not only the DNA evidence, it's the time frame. There's a huge gap between Solutrean and North American stuff that looks Solutrean. So what is my thought about it? I think it's just science fiction. Every single part of that theory is science fiction. It's just like science fiction, like Star Wars. It's very interesting, very entertaining. The car wash scene from Cool Hands Luke? Maybe. Perhaps some did arrive, but their line did not survive. Let's see. What are we talking about here? Yeah, I've read most of that book, Across Atlantic Ice, and I couldn't read all of it because it's science fiction. I don't think Solutrean had anything to do with North American Flintknapping whatsoever. In fact, Solutrean died out completely and was replaced by Magdalenian. So even if somehow there was some Solutrean that survived the Magdalenian age that totally wiped it out, there's still a huge gap. So I don't think, even if the Solutrean did survive the Magdalenian conquest, they wouldn't have survived long enough to influence North America. Yeah, it's just a matter of common sense. Although I do get, I can offend people just by saying that. Apocalypto was an awesome movie. Yeah, it's visually awesome, but historically accurate, I don't know. Let's see. The thing that I have that I don't like about Apocalypto was the lack of a real culture in the movie, other than the culture of violence. The movie is about a culture of violence, but there's so many other aspects of the culture at that time that they miss a lot. But it's not supposed to be a movie about history. It's just supposed to be entertaining. And unfortunately and fortunately, violence is entertaining. Let's see. Sands of the Kalahari, good movie. Naps a point to kill the great ape after they leave him there. Yeah. I don't think I've seen that one. Would you be interested in some pipestone for a pipe or soapstone? Yeah, I've got some already. A friend of mine sent me a bunch of steatite that I still haven't made into pipes. But yeah, I'll put it in with the steatite. Just fair warning, though, it takes me forever to make something that's not Flintknapping related. And even if it is Flintknapping related, I've got people that have been waiting 5 years for stuff. I know, I'm terrible. I'm absolutely terrible about getting to the back orders. The thing is, I can't say no to the new stuff coming in. I got to learn to say no to the new stuff coming in. Like this one, I'm doing a project for a person in the Syracuse University, and stuff like that comes in, and there's a deadline for it. All right, never mind. I won't get into those issues. Let's see. One last question, if I ask. After all the napping and videos, do you still like napping, or is it more like a job? It depends on the types of points. For me, the points that have regular flaking that are very thin as well, that's work. Everything else, thick and random and small, is what I enjoy. I don't like making really thin points. I don't like making points with regular flaking, and I don't like making large points. The ones I like making are the arrowheads for arrows, and they don't have to be perfect. My job side of knapping is the long blades, the regular flaking, and the thinness. So it's got two aspects. The flint knapping has two aspects. One is part work and one is part play, or what I enjoy. I enjoy the easier stuff. Two reasons. One, it's physically easier, and two, I get to see the results quicker. Yeah. Without remembering all the junk that happened to get there. And it doesn't have to be your last question, unless you're leaving. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to, let's see. What about the mammoth skull they found dredging off the coast of South Carolina that had a polished chert spearhead embedded? Is it Polish chert or polished chert spearhead? Because if it's Polish chert, then it's not Salutrian. There was an Arctic fox that made the crossing from Finland to, I believe, to Greenland. Predators move great distances sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it's by accident. And sometimes it's possible that artifacts left in a boat without people in it can drift thousands of miles. So people don't have to be in a certain area in order for artifacts to be found there if the artifacts arrived by boat without people in the boats, which is possible. A boat can drift on the ocean for months and then eventually land somewhere. But usually it lands close by. It gets blown to nearby land. But there is sometimes where a boat can be pushed all the way to a different continent by the wind and by currents. But it's very, very rare. So for an entire culture, an entire group of people in one continent to adopt the flint knapping from a site where it was just one boat with one load of cargo is very unlikely. Usually they just move on from the design. They'll make it for a little while, then they move on. So you're only going to find a few artifacts anyway, if you manage to find that site. Now, over thousands of years, wouldn't there be like thousands of boats from Europe blown over to the New World? Maybe. We don't know. And a mammoth skull with a chert spearhead embedded in the skull, it indicates that it was probably shot with a projectile, right? Were Salutrian points projectile points, the kind that you're thinking about? Because a lot of Salutrian points are knives. The kind that most people think of when they think of a Salutrian point, it's rather large, rather wide, and very thin. Those were knives and not projectile points. Well, how do we know they're knives? Because we know which end is the business end from the use wear. And it's not the narrow pointy end. The narrow pointy end is the handle. The business end is the other side. Okay? Just like or similar to a beaker knife. A beaker culture knife. Let's see. There was an Arctic fox that made the crossing from Finland. Okay, I read that one. You can travel many, many miles over ice depending on the season and by coincidence. Yeah. And a fox could also get stranded on a piece of ice that floats for many, many miles and survive as long as it's not more than a week or two. Let's see. They use real casts of obsidian blades and arrows in it. Yes, they did reproduce a lot of the weapons in Apocalypto very well, and they did use atlatl darts and atlatls, and they did use artwork from Mesoamerica to inspire the costumes and stuff. But I didn't see anybody wearing leopard skin leggings and shields with lots of feathers and that sort of thing. So I mean, they didn't go by the Mesoamerican artwork all that well. And they went kind of crazy with the piercings too in the movie. And I'm not sure if they used gold in the movie Apocalypto for jewelry. There was a lot of gold, believe it or not, in the New World in Central America. Okay, fair enough. 5,000 years gap. It's at least 5,000. It's a little bit more, I think, or a lot more. I got to look that up again. But there's a big gap. The Mackinac Bridge connects the upper and lower peninsulas of Michigan. I see. Yeah. So you're not a Youper, or are you a Youper? I should know because I know what city you're from. Is there a difference between an agate from Oregon and agate from the southern states as far as nappability goes? Oh, yeah. Agates can be very different from each other. Now, generally speaking, an agate is an agate is an agate. But, and there's like Pee Wee Herman says, there's always a big but. Everyone always has a big but. And yeah, it can be very different. So I can't tell you as far as nappability goes. I could say something and be totally wrong because everything's different. Did you see the movie Prey? It's a prequel to. I keep losing this. Prequel to Predator movies, and their use of Native American tools is probably the worst I've seen. Yeah, I've seen a lot of movies and even archaeological videos where they're just totally off base with the display of tools and how to use them. Just from a practical sense, because if you actually try to do woodwork and butcher animals with the tools, you quickly get used to what their capabilities are, and you can tell that actors are acting when they're using these things. Once you nap, you can't go back. Yeah, that's true. I found that to be true. Right. I'm sorry I'm so behind on these comments. Someone's getting a pizza. What happened to the sandwiches? All these great topics are making my brain hungry. Yeah. Have you seen the movie Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones? And yeah, I've seen the movie Hunted, and they fight with Tommy Lee Jones fights with a stone knife. Yes. Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Someone knew what Flintknapping was when they advised Tommy Lee Jones in his acting in that movie. Yes. We need more napping over 70. Yeah, we need more people retiring to a napping hobby. Yes. Let's see. A big thin point with regular pattern. It sounds exactly like a Salutrian point. Well, Salutrians had random flaking, as far as I know, right? Polish. So if it's a Polish, yeah, Polish flint off the coast of the United States, I highly doubt it. But if it is the case, it made a very long trek, maybe in the stomach of a bird or something, before it was made into an arrowhead. I don't know. Pelicans eat a lot of weird stuff, so maybe it was in the stomach of a pelican and dropped to the New World, and then someone. I'm being facetious here, but if it is indeed Polish flint, I think that we have some weird stuff going on there that I don't know how it could be explained. It's very interesting. I don't remember reading that in the book though. We don't usually consider where old coastal lines may have been much closer at times. Well, not much closer. Yeah. The sea levels only rise and fall uh, in an insignificant amount compared to the overall distance between continents. Let's see. I thought the same thing, but deemed unlikely for a boat containing a mammoth skull happened to drift off. Well, yeah, it could be that the mammoth skull with the point in it what drifted in a boat or on a piece of ice to the New World. I don't know. That's highly unlikely. Yes. Have you ever napped green glass from Purea found in caves? No. The Marketal was cool as you know what. Marketal. Oh, Macahuitl. Macahuitl. Yeah, the Aztec sword. It was cool. If you collected enough, yeah. Let's see. Do you think they used? Do you think they used some gold for work on the obsidian? No, gold is very soft. It's almost like lead. It's like a lead alloy. Like trying to nap with pewter or some other soft metal. So no, I don't think they used gold for napping. Oh, I could be wrong, but I think it's too soft. See, with copper, you can nap with it because it hardens as you pound it. And you can pound it into a tool like a bar, and it'll get harder. You can anneal it by putting it in the fire and raising the heat, and it'll get soft again. But the fact that copper gets hard when you hit it, like with a stone you use stone hammers to shape the copper, it gets harder, and it makes it easier to nap with. So no, I don't think they use gold for napping. Prey is on another level, though, using pine branches to make rope and using stone tomahawk as a reusable throwing weapon. It was really bad, even in comparison with other bad examples of use in the movies. Yeah. Prey is on another level. The movie Prey, I guess that's what that says. Yeah. Really bad in comparison. Yep. Yeah, the skull just floated on its own. I don't know. Have you seen floating bones? No. Bones are heavier than water. Unless they're bird bones or something that could have that hollow space on the inside. But no, bones are heavier than water. If you don't believe me, just try it. Let's see. I could see that. Rose gold you might be able to nap with because of the gold, copper, and zinc alloy. Yeah, alloys. I know that gold and silver occur together, and you can pound them into a blob that's harder than gold. Yes, but you'll have layers because you can't melt gold with normal conditions. Have you tried brass or bronze like you do copper tools? Yes. Bronze works well. Brass is very slippery. I'm going to be using brass tools soon. I keep saying that, but I will be using brass tools, but it's slippery. That's the reason why I haven't used it yet, because it's going to be a challenge. I want to do some other things before I get into brass because it's a totally different mindset. The brass is a different mindset because it's a slippery metal. Don't ask me why it's slippery. It doesn't grab the edge very well. You'll have to keep it rough, which is not a difficult thing, but uh, it's just annoying, especially when you grind a lot, when you're used to grinding a lot because you have to, and then try to use the brass because you don't want it slipping. You might say, well, just keep the edge sharp and it won't slip. Yeah, but it crushes in that case. So yeah, brass is a difficult metal, but it can be used. Bronze works very well though. If you want to use bronze, go ahead. It's great. I think they used bronze for flint knapping in the Neolithic. I have tried both brass and bronze, yes. Uh, let's see. Yes, I have lived near the ocean. Whalebone washed up where I live. Even the mastodon skull was found at our beach. Very interesting. Was it found because it washed up on the beach, or was it found because the mammoth or mastodon died on the beach? Same with the whale. A lot of whales will die on the beach. A severed head might float through. Yeah. Let's see. Let me think about that one. See, bodies normally float in water because there is air within the body, within the lung and in the intestines. There's gases and stuff. I think I've seen. I might get this wrong, but once it's been in the water long enough, it does float because of the decomposing. But there's a period of time where it will sink, the dead body or dead animal, until it starts to decompose and it raises up again, and then after decomposition, the bones then float to the bottom, sink to the bottom. There's different stages, and they don't last very long. They don't last long enough for like a bloated dead corpse to float for long distances, especially when there are birds and other animals that will eat the carcass on the way. You want to see me use something as a bopper? Yeah, well, every video where there's a bopper, you'll get your chance right there. Let's see. If you want me to cast a bopper head, what metal or alloy would you prefer to experiment with? Oh, golly. Good question. How about cast iron? I don't think I've napped with solid cast iron bopper before. I've napped with a wrought iron bopper, and then mild steel bopper, and then tungsten steel bopper, but never cast iron. So you could try that one. Is there evidence of using an indirect percussion in the past? Yeah, there's evidence. I like to say indirect evidence for using indirect percussion. And the evidence is mainly in the explanations of explorers into the New World who it's mostly in Spanish, but they talk about hitting, and the way that they describe some of the napping, it looks like they were hitting chisels to knock off flakes. So they have a mallet and a chisel, and they knock off the flake that way. Okay, and I think there's a part in the books on Ishii that he also used the indirect technique, but I have to make sure about that one. I'm not quite sure, but the evidence is in the eyewitness accounts. There is no direct evidence that I remember from video or camera of using indirect percussion among Native Americans. Now, in South America, there is. Yeah. There's evidence for using indirect percussion in South America to produce blades off of a core, like a vertical punch. Where in South America? I can't remember exactly. But indigenous peoples from South America, some of them were knapping until fairly recently. I bet a whale tooth billet is pretty nasty. Yeah. Ever see a movie called The Mountain Men with Charlton Heston and Brett? I don't remember. Do you have to cook Indiana hornstone? No, do not heat treat Indiana hornstone. It won't do anything to it. It might even ruin it. It might crack it. It's already heat treated by nature. Have you tried titanium instead of steel or aluminum? Yeah. Was it tungsten alloy or titanium alloy? I think it was titanium alloy. Did I say tungsten alloy steel? I think it was titanium alloy steel for a billet, but it had a flat end and not a rounded end. And it works okay. It just seemed to be a little bit too heavy. Very similar to a copper billet, like a copper bar. Is the titanium steel alloy billet that I used was like an inch in diameter. It felt a lot like an inch diameter copper billet of the same dimensions and shape. If you haven't, I could send you some rods to try. I have tried it. Titanium steel. Yeah. I think I said tungsten steel earlier by accident, or maybe I'm just getting mixed up. Brass is slicker. Best I can describe it, and I don't have good results with indirect, but not as bad as pressure. Yeah. Bronze bopper, that would be a good idea. Not only do I have some Laurel chert to send you, but also some 5/16 brass round stock for indirect. Yeah, just email me. No gold. The Lancandons use an antler punch down in Guatemala and Mexico. There's even an old documentary show called Bold Adventures where it shows tribal use of indirect. Yeah. Guatemala and Mexico. But I thought it was in South America somewhere. But yeah, that's Central America. Guatemala is Central America. So I may be wrong there. Silver might work. Yes. For a bobber. Yeah, I guess you're standing outside. I can see you. Yeah, I know. That's why the neighbor's dog is barking. It's not barking? That's funny. See, the neighbor has a hound, very sharp nose, right? And sharp ears. And it's always up second story looking out the window whenever it hears something. And then it bugs me. That's our canine alarm unit. Hound model. Let's see. So if you were outside, yeah. Okay. Wait a second here. These comments are coming in batches and I can't read the first one. Ishii also used a punch in between his fingers in the same hand to hold. Yeah, that's where it was. Yes. He would hold both the stone workpiece and a punch and then hit the punch. Yes. That was an eyewitness account that he would do that. Yeah. But let's see. I don't remember exactly. I'm not sure if he didn't use that during the finishing stages. I think he might have used that during the preliminary stages. Cast iron is it is then. Yay. What about a beaver tooth pressure flaker? Doesn't work. Although I recommend you try it because I want you to see that it doesn't work. I've tried it. Beaver tooth is like the weakest tooth available. Why do beavers cut wood with their teeth? How is it? It all has to do with the physics. The beaver has developed teeth specifically for chewing into wood, very dense wood sometimes. Two things. One, they chew on green wood, which is easier. They also remove slight slivers of the wood. Okay. Compared to what is required to knap stone, those teeth are under very little pressure. Okay. Yeah, a beaver can rip out big chunks, but it's usually after they've nibbled the top and nibbled the bottom, and then they rip out the middle. All they're doing is ripping something that would normally break where the grain is anyway. If you know, if you've watched a beaver work, they'll bite the top, they'll bite the bottom, and then they'll rip out the center. Okay, very efficient. But the stuff that they take off with their teeth, just look at the shavings that they remove. They're not that thick. All right, so it's good for that application on wood, especially because of the shape of the teeth are perfectly shaped, and the jaw muscles and everything have been developed over millions of years to be at the correct angle to shave that wood. Now, to use it as a pressure flaker, I want you to try it so that you will know that it doesn't work. Okay. That banned Flintknapping guy argues that indirect horizontal punches were found in Mound B at Cahokia, right? The short cylindrical antler ones. Who's the banned Flintknapper guy? I think I might know who you're talking about. We used to call him Brother Ben. He has a lot of things to say about indirect percussion. All right, let me know if that's the one you're talking about. Some of it is good stuff. Some of it's not good stuff from him, as far as information goes. Short cylindrical antler punches are still kind of a mystery, because you can use another technique. You just use a regular billet. You don't need a little punch. In fact, a little punch makes it more difficult to knap. So it's easier just to use a billet in that case for what they say those punches are used for. Ever read about Don Crabtree? Yes, I have one of his books. I live about 10 minutes from the University of Idaho where he worked and housed his collection. Yeah, he was a good napper. My worst injury sliced me bone deep, but the cuticle of my right middle finger almost across the knuckle. The scar grows. Yeah. Yes, one bopper, but with stone also would be cool. Sorry, that was Nap Yucatan. Oh, yeah. We used to call him Brother Ben. That made the indirect punch argument in North America. My bad. Yeah, I remember a lot of his postings and a lot of his collection as far as he grabs information off the internet and posts and reposts it, which is fine. Some of it's good, some of it's not good. I don't buy a lot of explanations on the internet, but you never know. Yeah. Ever heard of the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis? You mean meteor impact? Yes. You should use it for roughing out. Okay. You should use the indirect punch for roughing out. Okay. And remember, he used a lot of obsidian. So it works pretty good on obsidian to use the vertical punches. Especially the way he was using it with the tool stone in his hand with the punch between fingers and then hitting it. Instead of putting the tool stone somewhere like on your lap or on a pad or something and then hitting it. So you had to have something soft, in other words, in order to do that type of technique, something easy to nap. I don't know about that guy, Ishii. I saw in one of his videos a copy of yeah. You got me on that one. I almost read the whole comment. There are skilled notchers, one could say. Yeah. They chop wood just like the beavers. The beavers are skilled at notching. Yeah. It takes them a while to take down a tree, though, and they're very picky. If they hear any weird noises, they stop chewing. And they'll just leave the tree. And they'll come back to it later. Yeah, they're very good at self-preservation as far as not chomping on a tree that could fall on their head. Riding incisors are rusty color because high iron content. Okay. Beaver teeth is for woodworking, not stone. They make good bows. Yeah, I would use a beaver tooth for woodworking for sure. But yeah, if you had a choice, what would you use the tooth for? Woodworking or stoneworking? Yeah, for woodworking. But I've used it for woodworking too. And I want you to use the beaver tooth to see that it doesn't work. Again, it's not good for woodworking. It can be done, but it's not good. It's not nearly as good as using a stone for woodworking. So, but I want you to do it so you can see. Don't take my word for it. Does Patrick eat beaver? Oh, yes, I do. And you can take that any way you want. Knap-in is his name, I think. Well, that's his handle on YouTube and on the internet. That's not his name. His name is Benjamin. I won't give you his full name because he gets picked on too much. You know, he's a neurodivergent like me. So I guess I have a bias. Have you heard of the Knap Easy synthetic stone? Yes. In my view, what I've seen, it's a high grade porcelain. And now he's experimenting with different colors. So he's adding to the mix. Okay. You can't get different colors unless you have a mix to start with, and then you fire it at a certain temperature and you get this high grade porcelain. And it works. High grade porcelain works very well for napping. It's in the same boat as heat treated Keokuk. If you want to know, I've never napped the Nap Easy, but if it's high grade porcelain, it's very similar to high grade heat treated Keokuk. Am I ever going to get some of that Nap Easy? I might get some, yeah. And I've heard of the Nap Easy stuff. I mean, in the circles where I lurk, yeah, it comes up a lot. Artificial vanilla flavoring used beaver excretion for a very long time. It sounds like, I mean, it's true. No, the beavers have a scent gland, an oil gland on their butt. Yes. There's a tribe in the Amazon called the Zoe, and they carve their arrowheads out of wood and bamboo. They carve them with capybara teeth, and their bows using a javelin tooth still arranged. You mean attached to the jaw? Okay. Learn something new every day. I'm not trying to hate on the group or not on the Nap Easy, but it's roughly $2 an inch. You can get quality stone for $2 an inch in the right groups. I just don't get it. Oh, I see. Yeah. For the same price, you can get good quality stone. You don't have to buy the Nap Easy. Yeah. Now, napping some crunchy, blocky Georgetown, I believe, at the moment. Andrew, I just got rid of a nice square edge. Good. Very good. Just don't show anyone how to do it because they won't understand it. Yes, it's the vanilla raspberry artificial flavor. The reasoning of don't disrespect good stone by turning it into dust. Well, don't disrespect us knappers by selling us mid-grade ceramics for high-grade stone price. Yes, you went there. I'm a fellow autistic ADHDer too. Welcome. Everybody, welcome. And the neurodivergence will feel at home. I'm hoping, because they don't have very many places to feel at home. Yeah, I have 2 sons with autism. All right, I talk smack about it and stuff. I have symptoms of autism, and my dad did also. I score very high on the autism tests, although I've been learning to act normal for years. Yeah. But like I said, you catch me in person, I tend to shut down. Okay. High grade porcelain, I'll trust you. Yeah. Well, you don't have to trust me, but yeah. Try high grade porcelain, like the kind that they make large insulators with. They probably don't have very many available here because they dispose of them commercially somehow. But I've seen a guy from Eastern Europe use a huge, gigantic, high grade porcelain insulator for knapping some nice points. And it was pure white porcelain. I'm a fellow autistic. Yeah, it's way too expensive. Yeah. The best porcelain I found comes from the old insulators. Yes. The Knap Easy is for states that don't allow stone points to hunt with. It's high grade porcelainite or porcelain. Yeah. They don't allow stone points to hunt with. I thought they just don't allow non-steel or non-metal. I've seen state laws where they don't allow stone, but I think it's under the, because stone is not metal. They allow only metal broadheads in those states. As far as I read, but I could be wrong, that they specifically target stone and say, no, you can't use stone. It might be. I wish the price was a little more talk into-ish. I'm not autistic, just half retarded. My mother had me tested. The other 50% was inconclusive. Golly, that's a good one. The thing is, my mother wouldn't have me tested. She just goes, I wish I could shake you. What is the matter with you? Yeah, she said a lot that she would just like to shake me and waking me up. Yeah, maybe that would wake me up. Where do I look to find old porcelain insulators? You just have to go to dumps. Anyways, I think I'm going to close the chat now for sure. Yeah, I gotta get ready to do some knapping. I haven't turned the space heater on in the shop. It needs to run for about an hour before the shop actually starts to heat up, and it's only like what is it now? What temperature is it now? 13 degrees. So it's dicey. All right. You're welcome. I stayed on for a long time, 2 hours and 45 minutes. Again, I'll do this again Friday night. I'll start it at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for the chat. It was fun. I enjoy this. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.